Hey guys, it's OKB. This is the short version of the best supports of 2021. At least the best supports of 2021 January for now, because all these other random ninjas are going to come out. They're going to be better, they're going to be more unique. Position 1 ninjas are going to come out and they're going to need different types of support. And then those different types of supports will come out. So the list is constantly changing, okay? I don't have every single ninja on the list, so I can't tell you exactly how good they are, but I can tell you which ones are on the top, based on what I see in space-time and who I fight and all that stuff. If you want to see a longer version, of course, is in the descriptions of the video. I streamed on Dlive and Discord at the same time, so go ahead and join me on Discord. And also Dlive, if you want to support me, just, you know, I stream on there just because they give you a little something just for streaming. So if you want to support me that way, it's a free way to support me, right? Now, the best supports, man, I'm going to throw out some criteria for the best supports, all right? One, they have to, there's two things about number one. One is they have to survive. They have to have some sort of ability to survive and not just get killed without doing anything. And two, if they do die, they have to have some sort of ability to come back. So they have to revive themselves, or they have a buff that lasts for the entire round, or for at least a long time, at the very least. Maybe you allow them to die, but they need to be able to provide for the team in some way before they die, or even before or after death, or after they die, they provide some sort of value or something. You guys will know what I'm talking about when I go to my number one. So here is my list of top early 2021 supports, all right? And number one is just what I was talking about. Tsunade. First of all, she doesn't die for 2 rounds, no matter what. And after that, even if you kill her, she revives after you use a couple mysteries. So she's a long, medium, and short, medium, and long game sort of ninja. All around her, she heals a lot, removes all debuffs. She heals 2 times, which is really good. I mean, she's like the perfect support. Maybe not for every single team, but she's really good for almost any team. Even if it's a team that doesn't really make as much sense, she's good, worth it. Now, I threw in the Sage Kabuto team because I thought this was a cool idea. Taka Hugo, whenever he loses life, he basically gives curse mark units like Sage Kabuto attack and ninjutsu. And so if you kill Taka Hugo, Sage Kabuto can revive him with a standard attack. Tsunade can also revive Taka Hugo with a standard attack. So, I mean, with her mystery. So you can constantly revive Taka Hugo to give buffs to Sage Kabuto. I thought that was pretty cool, and that might have been a team worth considering. I just don't have Rizal Tsunade yet. She's still a wheelie ninja. You can get some fragments of her for free, for like Wheel of Fortune, but it's still not enough to actually recruit her. So she is still sort of a whale ninja, but eventually she'll become free to play and it will be so annoying to fight Tsunades in Sage and Training Grounds every single round. It'll be so funny though. But yeah, it'll be so annoying and funny at the same time. Okay. Oh yeah, she also has this chase that causes chaos, I guess. I don't know if that's worth mentioning or not. But yeah, she can revive the entire team with her mystery, which increases, like, she needs more chakra every time she uses her mystery to revive people, but it's still really good. Okay. Indra Otsutsuki. Basically, he's like a buffed up version of Edo Itachi, 6-pass style. He has evasion, and he has super high evasion until he makes a move, which means you can actually put him in position 4 and just leave him there, and he'll survive. He'll probably survive, unless your opponent is using something like Kimono Itachi with undodgeable attacks, then that's something else. However, whoever hits him is ignited, and this hits through immunity to status. Probably not immunity to status level 2, which is his brother Ashura, but other than that, I don't see anyone else that can not be ignition by him, including the people who reflects debuffs. So that's really good. Stopping someone from healing is stopping their defense. That's a offensive type of defense. And also he dodges. So when he dodges and you try to hit him, you get ignited and he doesn't get hit, which is really nice. So that's a survivability thing. Now his mystery, he has 2 mysteries. One is just 20 chakra and anxiety, which causes your opponent to use 10% of their current health whenever they make a move, so when they do a standard attack, a mystery attack, they're dealt 10% of their current life, which is a lot of damage actually for a position 2 support. Now, yeah, actually, there's no real weakness to that. He expresses immunity to status too. His second mystery attack, which you can use in the same round, just basically gives him super armor, reduces resistance on your opponent, but only by like 8%, which isn't much. So it's not really worth mentioning in terms of support. But that makes him a fair position 1. Okay. He also has some sort of chase. He also deals a whole bunch of damage to people who are ignited. Which with ninjutsu damage, which is fair. Sometimes you want that, sometimes you don't. But I guess he does deal a huge amount of damage. With his, that's at least what his ability says. So he deals a whole bunch of damage to people who are ignited before he does anything, which is another thing, which makes him still a pretty strong position 1. Yeah, he's a perfect tank, honestly. Like, you can probably line up a row here, put him position 4 here, so that when someone attacks any of these 2 rows, they'll be ignited, and he will be dodging all their attacks. Okay, that's Indra. He could be lower or higher on the list, depending on what comes next on the meta, but number 3 is Green Ninja Armada for me, but I'm not absolutely sure about that. The reason he's number 3 is because he summons shields for the entire team, which is a buffed up version of Earth main. If you have Rinnegan Sasuke here, you have, let's see, Rinnegan style. The reason I put this team in here is because they're all Rinnegan except for the Earth main, of course. And Rinnegan, basically, you have mystery attacks that don't miss. Green Ninja Armada gives position 1 a whole bunch of damage, I guess. It goes to the entire field, which is good for 3 versus 3, but we're talking about 1 versus 1 here. The shields are really good. It's one of the main points. He has a high survivability. He has 1 perfect dodge, one very high chase dodge, and then 20% dodge on anything else, which is pretty good as defense. And he also gives shields, so that's great defense. And then he also gives buffs. So he buffs, he shields, and he's hard to kill. Well, he's not super hard to kill, but he's kind of hard to kill in the front row, at least. So that's 3 things that make him really good support. He also causes this repulse, and he also has immunity suppression chase, so I guess that's also helpful. Especially with Rinnegan Sasuke with his standard attack causing knockdown. He chases knockdown, and he can suppress immunity with his breakthroughs. And cause, immobilization. Of course, there's also control fail, so sometimes suppress immunity doesn't work on position 1s, but yeah, there's a lot of offensive and defensive attacks and defense. I mean, they're both attacks and defenses at the same time. Immobilizing someone is defending yourself. Edo Minato is good with his barrier. He's been out for a while, so you guys know about him. He can summon a barrier. He can lower defense. He can cause enfeeble, which lowers your opponent's attack and ninjutsu by 70%. But of course, if your opponent's immune to status, it probably won't work too well. But you can suppress that immunity with another support, which is like Ibiki, Summer Kurenai, Kushina, goes to position 1 perhaps. Of course, they might have control fail though. So it's back and forth. He has a barrier, which you can probably throw in another ninja here with Kazukage Gaara, for example. Can summon a barrier if you lose the barrier to Kisame. So yeah, one of the big ninjas that are out here is Kisame, but Edo Minato can revive and get his barrier back, but it's not going to be at the same rate that Kisame does. But he still has the enfeeble and the reducing defense abilities, which make him really strong. Tag ignition and reduce defense. That's a whole bunch. It's just a good combination with other barrier ninjas. Like, you don't actually expect your barrier to stay, but it forces your opponent to change the barrier on you. He also stops his barrier also stops chakra from generating on both sides. So it's like a partial solution to any chakra things. But yeah, he's pretty good. He can still be used really well as long as you know who you're fighting. Earth Grudge Kakuzu. Basically, his main thing is he has a high survivability rate, right? He has a scaling of up to 250% defense, which is pretty crazy. Now, no resistance, so that's partial, but still, like, having super armor and having a huge amount of defense in the front row is pretty good as a tank. Now, he also heals and removes all debuffs and gives standard attacks to 2 Akatsuki units, which sometimes is all you need. Now this is a pretty good team that I've seen in Sage and Training Grounds. It works pretty well. It's fast. It's strong. He also has the scaling of 100% attack and ninjutsu, so even if you use him as a support, he deals a fair amount of damage. So you can use Kisame and Earth Grudge Kakuzu at the same time. It's kind of having like a secondary damage dealer with a fair amount of defense. Yeah, he's also Akatsuki, so Taka Sasuke is a perfect match for these guys. Okay, Akatsuki Kakuzu number 6. I actually might have put him as number 5 if we're talking about 3 versus 3, but we're not. We're talking about 1 versus 1. Basically, he can die and revive your entire team. You want to position one that survives alone. So something like Defense Kushina could work. Kisame could work if you throw in Taka Sasuke here with some dodge and some buffs and shields and stuff. Basically, you want him to die and revive and die and revive. And each time he revives, he gives the entire team extra resistance and ninjutsu. 30% isn't a lot, but it's a fair amount when you're also reviving. And when you can also choose when to revive. So he revives whenever your team kills an enemy unit, which means you can wait for your Kisame to wait until the end of the round when everyone has finished their attacks for Kisame to kill an enemy unit and then summon up everyone else. And then everyone else can also give a buff. So Taka Sasuke will give you the shields and attack and ninjutsu for the next round. Fireman will give you you can use like the critical lower critical and ninjutsu ability on Fireman, and that would be helpful for the next round. So you can keep on doing this. Just make sure your position 1 can survive, or at least you're interrupting the other side. Yeah, he's good. Just better for 3 versus 3 than he is for 1 versus 1, because you might just get blitzed in 1 versus 1, and there's no room for error here. Taka Sasuke is up there. There's just a lot of Akatsuki metas right now, and he buffs Akatsuki, and he has chase dodge. He gives hit and miss units some dodge, which is good for Kisame particularly, but he can also support other Akatsuki units just every single round before every round. Summon shield, summon attack, kind of like Iruka, except faster, better. His standard attacks reduce defense. His chase does ignore some defensive resistance, so it's a fair amount of damage. There's no wasted movement, I guess. There's no wasted abilities really with him. His chakra also costs 0 chakra, so it's kind of good for metas that require chakra, like Kakuzu, Kisame, Rinnegan Sasuke. Almost every single, like Great Ninja Yamato is good too, though. Basically, almost every single Akatsuki meta can be supported by him. Pretty much every single one. So that's why he's good. He's versatile. He's strong. Well, I won't say he's strong. He's just good. He has some level of defense, with the chase damage, dodge chase, and yeah, and he's shield and stuff. I put him with this team. You can use him with Taka, Rinnegan Sasuke, Taka Hugo. It's a fun little thing. He's swordsman too. Water style, so if you want to run something like Fire Main to increase fire and earth damage, he's not going to take it. That's actually one of the things I really like about him too in my Great Ninja War Madara team, which is Great Ninja Madara, Edo Itachi, Taka Sasuke, and Fire Main. And Fire Main is running lower ninjutsu and critical rate thing. So Taka Sasuke is a pretty good support all around, even with ninjas that are not hit and miss and Akatsuki, but you probably generally want to use him with those. Ashura Otsutsuki, he gives a chase every single round. If when he uses his chase, he gives evasion as he gets hit more. So he has some level of defense. He has some chase increases, but those take time, and that makes him a little bit weaker than the other supports. But it can be really good if you have something like Gamakiri on your lightning main, or on any main really. Gamakiri is a summon that you get from one of the hot topic events that lowers your opponent's resistance by 20%, 3 units. That's a pretty good powerful ability if you stack that with Asura, so you can use him 3 times and lower your opponent's resistance by 60% or something. But that's a pretty good amount. There's other abilities, Kimono Itachi could work with that. You could guarantee his mystery attacks by he has like this chase that reduces his cooldown by 2, but it's only 1. And if you have Asura on the field, then you can do that 2 times and give him extra ninjutsu scaling and stuff. But yeah, basically he's good with anybody who likes increasing chases, but you do need survivability. So Reserve Tsunade is really nice. I put Taka Karin here, but maybe you can put someone else. Who knows? He's also swordsman, so at least you have this resistance with this light aiming thing. Saimihade Kisame, now he's better in 3 versus 3 than he is 1 versus 1, but he is still fair. He can summon a bear. He can break the barrier and summon sharks that cause acupuncture. He gains life and chakras whenever a unit dies, so that's sort of his defensive ability. He also has super armor. Whenever unit dies, he gains chakra, which is good for Kakuzu, for other Rinnegan, maybe Rinnegan Sasuke or some other mysteries like that. But you can switch that out with increasing your opponent's mystery chakra cost by 20. So your opponent will have to use 20 more chakra to use one of their ninjas, right? That could be useful, that could be helpful, but that's just an extra effect after breaking the barrier. Taka Sekatsu, once again, is a perfect combination with him. I wouldn't put him here if Taka Sekatsu wasn't here, but Taka Sekatsu is, so he can be a great support for, in general, a lot of ninjas. He's just like a barrier breaker. He just stops everything. Stops all the barrier abilities at least, and yeah. He's fair, but he does lack some defensive abilities in terms of increasing your defensive resistance, being hit by a really strong attack, by really stacked position 1. That is his weakness. Okay, right, Kimono Shisui will also cause ignition to him, so he is weak to ignition. All right, Edo Hashirama. Now he's limited to senjutsu users. Really, heals, removes all debuffs. He can reduce. Part of his ability reduces senjutsu users' mystery cooldown by 1, which gives Minato +2. Minato can use his +2 mystery, which has a 30% increase in damage, and hits 12 units. If you use Edo Hashirama breakthroughs with him, but Edo Hashirama is hard to get though. But still, Edo Hashirama does reduce attack ninjutsu by 25%, I think, if you hit him until the end of the next round. So if you want to kill him, you have to use something. You have to use a single really strong attack, basically. But yeah, he has a chase that drains all chakra, and then another 30 combo chase that immobilizes, I believe, and also goes through immunity to status. So that actually is very powerful. It's a 30 combo thing, but it's still really powerful, and it's not that hard to get if you have a lot of ninjas on the field, at least in the beginning, right? With Edo Minato, you cause a whole bunch of combos and stuff. But yeah, he's definitely good, but he has his weaknesses with blitz teams and so on. Sage Kabuto he's up there, and I want to introduce his idea. He's still newish to you guys, but with his breakthroughs, he can revive people. And here's the thing. He also has a revival ability, so you can switch out one of his abilities with to a breakthrough ability that revives every single. So if your team uses 2 mystery units, mystery attacks, then he will revive. And Indra is the perfect one to showcase that, because Indra can use 2 mysteries in 1 round, and that's just amazing, right? And that basically means that if Indra uses his mystery 2 times, Sage Kabuto will revive. And Sage Kabuto will revive people with a standard attack, so it's pretty nice, and might be Reserve Soul Tsunade. And so if you revive Reserve Soul Tsunade, Tsunade will revive the entire team. Tsunade also has this ability, except it's 3 mysteries. So Sage Kabuto is 2 mysteries, Reserve Soul Tsunade is 3 mysteries. As long as your position 1 doesn't die, you can constantly revive these guys in the back, who also revives the other part of your team, who then can start supporting you once again. And so that's like a team that I thought of, but we don't have a lot of Sage Kabuto breakthroughs out there. All right, there's not a lot of people have him yet, so we don't actually see a lot of him, but I can tell you right now that he can go in for some really annoying revival abilities there. Yeah, he's just, people have not unlocked his potential yet, and I'm looking forward to people making teams so that I can start demonstrating those. But yeah, I'm waiting on another Fuku on some other account, so on a friend's account to get Sage Kabuto, because he has him 3 stars. 4 stars will be amazing. Just wait for it. All right, wait for, I don't know, somebody who knows how to make really good teams with him. Okay, Great Ninja Obito. Gunjiro Obito is still slightly risky. He has a lot of, I think he has chase dodge, which is kind of nice. His center attack drains chakra, but his main point is his mystery that removes somebody from the field. However, you have to do that round 2 unless you're somehow able to reduce his mystery cooldown by 1. Now, I put Junior Shikamaru just to give him the defensive resistance that he needs to survive until round 2. And the Susanoo Shisui's out there to stop mysteries. But basically, if you're able to destroy your opponent's position 2, 3, and 4 with your position 1, then you can basically remove your opponent's position 1 from the field, and you would win without killing his position 1. You would just remove him from the field and you win. That's it. And so there's that threat out there. Now, it is a round 2 thing, so it is kind of risky there, but Obito is... it's OP in some ways, alright? I don't know how else to say it. I mean, you can remove somebody's position 1, so you don't even have to kill the position 1. You just remove it from the field. You can also remove... This can also be a counter to the number 1 on the list, right? Rizzo Tsunade. If you remove Rizzo Tsunade from the field and you kill everyone else, basically you win. Right? This is like the counter to Reserve Seal Tsunade. However, it is risky, so that's why I'm putting him number 12. He doesn't have any defensive abilities aside from chase dodge, and that's pretty much it, right? But yeah, Juno Shikamaru can really help him there with defensive resistance, so he survives and critical rate and stuff. But yeah, he has these OP abilities, and it's just like a third dimensional, like it's like another dimension of play. Like there's no other ninja like him at the moment, right? He's just crazy. Crazy offensively, but at the same time, he lacks some sort of defense. So it is a risk that you need to be willing to take. Swimsuit Konan, I just like her for this extra standard attack to the entire Akatsuki team, which means you don't have to use Earth Grudge Kakuzu, which means you can use something like a Akatsuki Creation Kakuzu with Kisame or Rinnegan Sasuke or something like that, right? But yeah, she also has a really good combo, so she has a 10 combo that causes 5 combo to 3 units, but that's unmissable, and which basically means that if you cause 10 combo with Kisame, basically she'll give Kisame his chase, which is really nice. You can also use with Kakuzu, of course. Some other random, I don't know, somebody who requires combo, you can use that with them, and just get 10 combo, and then she'll automatically get you 20 combo. That's a really important ability for people who are fast as well. Throw in an Edo Minato or something like that. With Edo Hashirama, even if it's not a Akatsuki, it could work. But I threw in this because I thought Zetsu would be fun to have 2 standard attacks on Zetsu every single time. Yeah, that's definitely hilarious because you can summon a whole bunch of your opponent's ninjas, and then we'll have all sorts of passive buffs around on top of Konan's. And Konan gives Akatsuki people an extra standard attack. So if your Zetsu summons in a whole bunch of other Akatsuki units, then Konan was going to give them extra standard attacks, and it'll be crazy. But yeah, I think she's a pretty good support out there. She has some sort of dodge too. So this is defense, so it's kind of fair. It's kind of nice. Edo Hashirama, he is lower on the list because he's not necessarily a one-trick pony, but after reducing your opponent's chakra limit to 60, and also suppressing immunity to status, those are his like main round 1 abilities. There's not much else that you can talk about him, except that he has a perfect chase with Kushina. Juno Shikamaru could help him. He's hidden jutsu. He heals a bit whenever you hit him. He's immune to status, so he does have some level of survivability, but he can still be blitzed, which is why we put Juno Shikamaru on this team. Yeah, there's not much else to talk about. This mystery does suppress immunity to 2 people, 1 at random though. 1 that you pick, 1 at random, so it's kind of nice. Immobilized for 2 rounds. Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to talk about him. His standard attack does have a potential to cause some 10 combos, so I guess that's kind of nice. He has a knockdown low chase that increases chakra cost by 20 until the end of the round, but that doesn't matter most of the time. Juno Shikamaru is next on the list. You guys just saw a team with him, so I made another one. Kimono Itachi. He's good. He's basically the new root of the game. 100% defensive resistance, and critical rate 30% increase. Critical rate is really important, so that just gives it to hidden jutsu units, and you just give a whole bunch of buffs. That's his main thing. Now he has a chase that does increase your opponent's mystery cooldown by 1, which you can sometimes make, but it's not the most important part. I mean, he has a knockdown chase that it removes all buffs too, so it's kind of nice. Just his defensive resistance is his main thing. You can also reduce someone's mystery cooldown in round 2, but your opponent has to let you do that. So it is difficult. I mean, you can gain a little bit of chakra with him, or you can just gain 60 chakra in round 2 if that's what you want. But there's barely ninjas for that if that's what you want. So basically, Chunin Shikamaru is a great support overall. It's pretty basic. Just use hidden jutsu people. Taka Karin. Now, she might die. I think she is immune to status or something, or has some sort of defensive ability, but she can still be blitzed by damage. But basically what she does is she gains standard attacks whenever someone uses their mystery, just like Summer Kakashi, which is why I put them on the team. So each time someone uses their mystery on your opponent's side, Summer Kakashi gets an extra standard attack, and Taka Karin gets a mystery standard attack as well. And her standard attack heals the entire team. More people, I think, if you field. I'm not really sure if she's a field ninja, but anyways, as long as you can make sure she survives, like Reserve Tsunade, she's a really good one to keep on healing and healing and healing. She has some sort of low knockdown chase, I think, or some sort of chase that interrupts or chaos or something. Other than that, her main ability is just healing and healing and healing, so as long as you don't get blitzed, you are fine with Taka Karin. That's kind of why she's good but lower on the list, because she doesn't have the survivability unless you throw in the number 1 support, Zerso Tsunade or Akatsuki Kakuzu or something like that. Yeah, she costs a strong poisoning, which is extra poisoning, extra damage, I guess, but it's not that big of a deal. And yeah, it's good if you want a healer that doesn't attack your opponent so that your opponent doesn't activate any abilities. That's probably one of our good points there as a healer. Okay, Summer Kurenai. Put her on lower on the list than Edo Hashirama because her ability only suppresses immunity to 1 person, but at the same time, she also is not immune to status. She doesn't heal when she's hit, but she can cause chaos, which can be paired well with Rinnegan Sasuke. The chance is 45%, which is a fair amount, but alone it's probably only chancy. But if you put him with Rinnegan Sasuke with the chaos, then whenever someone does an area attack, the chance of them getting chaos is 55% and then 45%, which is, it's a pretty low 25% or something like that for anybody who's attacking to not get chaos. 75%-ish that they will be chaos by either Summer Kurenai or Rinnegan Sasuke. So she's pretty good. I put her with Madara because that generates chakra for Rinnegan Sasuke, which is, pretty good. She has a status reflect, which is good for certain teams, which is better than Edo Hashirama in some ways, because sometimes you just really need a status reflect. And she has a knockdown repulse chase, which is good with Rinnegan Sasuke that causes chaos. So, cause chaos to some random person. Great. Rinnegan Sasuke's mystery also causes knockdown. So her knockdown repulse can also be the interruption to Rinnegan Sasuke's mystery, because Rinnegan Sasuke doesn't interrupt with his mystery, which most other units do, most other position 1 metas do. So yeah, he's good. She does cost sleep to 3 units, which can be really powerful sometimes, but it's iffy. It's sometimes good, sometimes just doesn't matter at all. But yeah, that's right. Main point is that she reduces your opponent's chakra limit to 60, which kind of like Edo Hashirama. It's the same thing. But yeah, she can get killed though. Even if she reduces her chakra limit to 60, a really stacked position 1 can really kill her pretty fast. Round 1, round 2, dead. So her survivability is what I take issue with, and that's why she's so low on this top list. Edo Itachi's next. He doesn't he's basically he reduces ninjutsu attacks by 50% for the entire team for two hits, and then that's pretty much all you need most of the time. And then he has a sleep dream thing. He has a 3-round cooldown with that though, and costs 20 chakra and stuff. He has a chase dodge, so he does have some survivability there, but he might still get blitzed by anything that's not Kakuzu. Actually, even Kakuzu with his mystery can deal a fair amount of damage to Edo Itachi and just kill him by round 2. And so alone, he's not enough defense for high ninjutsu users, but he's nice. He just doesn't reduce the chakra limit of people, and also because control fail is a thing, doesn't always make sense to use it on a position 1 on maybe Kisame or Kakuzu as a position 1. He can't just control them half the time. He does have a status reflect like Summer Kurenai does, but in terms of stopping somebody, Summer Kurenai and Edo Hashirama, as long as you can fire off their mysteries, their chakra limit is going to go down to 60, but Edo Itachi doesn't do that, and so, you know, just the 60 chakra limit is basically what sets apart Summer Kurenai and Edo Hashirama from Edo Itachi. Alright. He's still good, though. Howlin' Kimimaro is a double-edged sword, which is why I'm putting him so low on this top list. He gives 60% increase in damage for mystery attacks, lower all other attacks by 30%, which is sort of a defense. He has a standard attack blocker for two times, I think, which is kind of nice in the front row attacks, but these days it's not just about front row attacks, so even though he increases defensive resistance whenever he's hit, you can still be blitzed. He's a swordsman, which is kind of nice. You can use root with him. But yeah, he's a double-edged sword, which is why I put him so low on the list. You can use him with pretty much anything that has a strong mystery. Ten Tails Madara is pretty common for this. Yeah, Ten Tails Madara is probably the best example I can find. But you can throw in Edo Minato, Susanoo Shisui, you know, people that rely on their mysteries to deal damage. Kimimaro is good for. But yeah, remember it's a double-edged sword. If you're slower, you might actually lose out. You might hurt yourself. Kazukage Gaara is up there, but he's just too slow. Even though he gets his mystery back, he's just too slow. He doesn't give immediate defensive buffs. He can summon shields with his mystery, his chakra, his barrier. You can technically use his barrier every single round if he's hit enough, but he also gets defensive resistance and he heals life whenever he's hit. But his defensive resistance is based on chakra, and then his shields is once his shield. Usually you put him in position 4, so he summons shields for 2 units when he has his barrier, so that's a whole bunch of requirements. So while he's nice, he can keep on changing the barrier for your Earth of Wind style ninjas. He's kind of slow and it's kind of hard to use him sometimes. He can get controlled. He's not immune to status. He has super armor, but Edo Itachi can just take him out, or Summer Kurenai, or something, right? So he has his whole bunch of weaknesses. He can be controlled a whole bunch by chakra and just status effects. But he does have the defensive and resistance scaling and the barrier changing. So I would put him as a 3 versus 3 ninja-ish, but he's also sort of outdated for a lot of teams. This is a team that still works kind of against like the crazy metas, chakra metas, but just he's not fast enough these days. But he's good as long as he can do his thing. That is it. All right, Ibiki is my final one. He's a double-edged sword to himself, but not exactly the entire team. Sometimes you don't want your team to attack the other sides. You just want your position 1 to do it, and Ibiki's perfect for that. But a standard attack does reduce defensive resistance. However, when he uses his mystery, he does suppress immunity to status. He increases damage dealt to people who are immobilized, and he causes immobilize himself and drains chakra. 0. So he does that in round 1, I guess. But after that, he deals a whole bunch of damage to himself and immobilizes himself, which, I don't know. So I just kind of like the idea of having a support ninja that doesn't do that to himself all the time. Or at least you can choose when you can do it. Technically, you can choose, but like for him to use his mystery to have to immobilize himself, along with others, it's like a suicide bomber without as much return. But at the same time, he is strong. He has super armor. He scales defense a little bit whenever he's hit, and he does reduce defensive resistance. And he's good with Edo Madara. If you remove all buffs and shields and immunities, then you throw in Ibiki to remove all the immunity debuffs, ninjas, then you can just control really well. Greninja Armada is good for this. He's a fair tank. I see him with Killer Bee and Greninja Armada on occasion, but it's not on the same level as Summer Kurenai and Edo Hashirama and all that stuff. He just have super armor, so maybe he will survive for a while. But yeah, he is a double-edged sword to himself, and then sometimes to the team. Not like Kimimaro, but at the same time, his strong abilities are still pretty strong. I consider putting Edo Madara as my number 21, but Edo Madara is a one-trick pony. So yeah, these are some other ninjas that you might consider as position 2 or 3 supports. I might have put Summer Kakashi, Edo Tobirama, but Summer Kakashi dies pretty easily, and Edo Tobirama, I don't know yet. I don't know about Edo Tobirama yet with his breakthroughs. We'll see. But he's definitely in between, in the gray zone. Alright guys, this is the short version of the best 21 supports of early 2021. Hope you guys liked it. Leave a like in the descriptions. Wait, hold on, that doesn't make any sense. Basically, just subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.